So I'd like to ask you, what is the difference between the liberal Catholic Church and the Roman Catholic Church?
One of the quick differences is that the liberal Catholic Church has no formal connection with Rome. The Pope, who is the head of the Roman Catholic Church, has no authority over the liberal Catholic Church. The liberal Catholic Church is completely independent of the Roman Catholic Church. The word Catholic is similar for both of them, and in this sense, Catholic means universal. It's a universal Christian church.
And what does the liberal part of it mean?
The liberal part refers to the very clear message that we'd like to send, is that there is complete freedom of all of our members in the liberal Catholic Church to understand and pursue the deep truths of Christianity from their own side. We have teachings, we have things that we can share with people, we have deep insights which bring real value into people's lives, but the liberal aspect of the church indicates that every person comes to their own understanding at their own speed.
So before we talk a bit more about those teachings, I'm really interested in that, but tell me about your rites. What's your Mass like?
Our Mass is what you might call the Eucharist, a formal ceremony. We have candles on the altar, we use incense, we have flowers on the altar to make it beautiful. We have a formal service with formal words that are the same words we will use every Sunday. We sing hymns, we have prayers, we have readings from the Bible. So our service perhaps looks a little old-fashioned compared to some churches who might have a lot more modern music in them or not so much formality. So the service is formal and structured and is directly connected to the deep learnings and understandings that we have, which connects through the teachings of the liberal Catholic Church.
So if somebody came from a Catholic church or from an Anglican church, would they understand the form of your Eucharist?
Yes, they'd see similarities. They'd see a lot of similarities. People who come from those denominations say that this looks like High Anglican, or this looks like the more formal Roman Catholic services before the introduction of the changes that were introduced from various Vatican councils.
So let's go back and talk a bit more about the teachings. How do you impart the teachings, the liberal Catholic Church's teachings, to the congregation?
We do this through small workshops. We do this through discussion groups. We do this through various books. We have written material for the training of clergy, which carries a lot of this information. So there's many different ways that people can learn about this.
I know your sermons because I listen to them. They have quite a bit of the teachings.
Yes. I try to introduce as much material as I can in the short 10 to 15 minutes that I think is appropriate for the Eucharist. And those teachings also are very much part and interwoven into the structure of the Eucharist.
So how are the teachings of the liberal Catholic Church different from those of, say, the Catholic Church or the Anglican Church or the Uniting Church, other Christian denominations?
Well, there's probably too many denominations to have a demarcation on, but let's just look briefly at one of the major differences between the Roman Catholic Church and the Liberal Catholic Church. The Liberal Catholic Church very much understands that we are all born with Christ within us, and our journey on earth is partly, and more if people choose it to be, the path of finding the reality of the Christ within us. The Roman Catholic Church tends to position God somewhat outside the individual, and the individual might approach God from the outside. We don't put any priests or bishops in the way of someone approaching God. Christ, the part of the Trinity of God, we understand is already in each individual.
Shall we leave it there and have
Yes.
some more next
Yes.
time?
Yes, we will. Yes.